You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this channel ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and today we have a pen from Xezo. This is the Xezo Visionary in sky blue and white. Comes in this nice presentation box, says limited edition down here. You may recognize Xezo from some of my DC pen show videos. It's the only pen show that I ever see Xezo at. I believe they are up in the Pacific Northwest is where they're located. Comes in this very nice box here, and they gave me this pen for review a little while ago, and so it's time to get that review going. I've been using this for quite a while. Open the box this way, kind of, clamshell style, and we have the pen right here, which did come in a nice like plastic bag, but I took the bag off. Also, we have some cartridges in blue and black, standard international cartridges. Put those to the side because I actually do use those sometimes. Then we have here the international warranty card, which is for this pen. This is the Visionary Sky Blue and White fountain pen, medium, signed by I believe YG is the name of the owner, but I might be mistaken. And then the date for this card. Then there is here the certificate of warranty and all that sort of jazz in a few different languages. This is number 345 out of 500. It is specifically for this pen, which is kind of cool. So let's get this put back together. Very authoritative action there. All right, so this is the pen. This is the Xezo Visionary, as I said. You can see that again here on the cap band. Visionary, limited edition, number 345 out of 500, 2021. And there's the Xezo brand. You can also see up here at the cap, we have a very nice clip that is chrome plated. Right here has a nice spring to it. You're not bending the clip, you're bending some spring action up in here, which works very nicely. We have a little roller here so that when you are putting this in and out of your pocket, it rolls instead of just sort of scraping along or what have you. Won't get caught on stuff. That's been pretty nice. The overall shape of this and the color combo gives it kind of a real retro vibe to me. This feels like something you would find in like a Fallout video game or something like that. It's glossy, it's kind of retro future, it's a little bit rocket shaped, has a nice taper here toward the finial, and of course those chrome plated aluminum furnitures on there. Also to notice here, we have the white and blue on this one. It does come in other colorways, and you can find those online at their site, xezo.com. Like this, Xezo, or they also have an Amazon store, actually. So this pen, at the time I'm filming this, is out of stock. It will be in stock when I post this, but I don't have a price for it, so I'm not entirely sure. But the pens in this line go for between 100 and like 150 bucks, I want to say. So that to me seems like a very reasonable price for this one. The paint here is actually hand lacquered. They get the parts from these or for these from Germany and a couple of other places, and then they are hand painted. I asked them where they were hand painted or who does it, and they said we can't really tell you because we don't want anybody to take our painters from us, which is totally reasonable. But they do a very nice job here, like so precise and exact. This nice like chrome divide down the middle. Now, depending on the way that you line this up, you can have it in kind of a harlequin pattern like this with the blues here, or if you line it up the other way. Nope, the other way. Come on, Mike, you can do it. Like this. Man, yeah, there we go. It's a double start threading system, so you can have it either all the blue on one side and all the white, or checkered, which I don't really pay attention much to which side I put it on, but I kind of like the checkered look. I think it looks neat. Okay, so here we go. When you uncap it, you can see there is the nib, and these are number 6 Yovo nibs. I believe they only really come in medium, and these are a custom nib for them by Yovo, they say, and I have not pulled the nib and feed. They asked me not to because I think there is some apparatus down in there of some kind, some like metal bits. I don't know if it has to do with the feed, although I kind of think it does because it's a very wet and consistent nib, so I think they've got some extra thing going on down in there. I don't know, breather post, I don't really know, but they asked me not to pull the nib and feed, and so I haven't, and so I kind of suggest you not either. You can unscrew the nib unit though, and it has this nice gold and chrome trim there on the nib. Says Xezo Germany. I think the nib is actually a little bit on the busy side for me, what with both these little scrolly bits and the 2 colors and the logo. Just kind of a lot of stuff going on there, and they could have maybe simplified that a little bit, but I like a simpler nib. So there we go. We'll see in the writing sample that this is a very nice wet nib, and it has been indeed my go-to For a nib that needs, or an ink that needs a wet nib. It's got like a pelican level of wetness, but we have a nice cartridge converter system in here, so it's easy to clean out and change nibs, change inks, and I enjoy that. Here we have a section, which is a plastic section, and it is slightly hourglassed, as you can see there. It gives you a nice pinch to put your fingers on. I have not had any issues with my fingers getting on the threads or this sort of break here, this jump. I haven't had any problem with that. I sort of hold it like this, and it does. It feels good in my hand. My fingers aren't actually even in contact really with the threads, which are not sharp anyway. So pretty nice, even with the step. I just kind of put my fingers there, and it's good. It is also long enough for me to use unposted. You can post this pen. I don't. It posts okay. It's not the greatest poster, and the end here is actually kind of heavy because of all the articulation for this mechanical clip. So I don't really write with it posted. I think it's a little bit unbalanced when you do that, but nicely balanced when you do it this way. Inside the cap, you can see there is a little plastic half liner there for the threads. Now you are putting plastic threads on metal threads, so I would say don't crank it closed, or you could have a situation in which you deform those threads and then your chrome line won't line up anymore, and that kind of sucks. So just be careful with that. You can just screw it closed. I haven't had any problems with it coming unclosed. You can also see there the aluminum inside the barrel there, or the silvery bit anyway. It might be brass. I'm not actually sure, but you can see that, and you can also see the little screw. Now, in general, I do prefer a full liner in here because it generally gives you a better seal and it keeps your nib from drying out, but I've never had this nib dry out. We'll see how it goes when I start writing with it after waving it around for a good while here. Unscrewing the body here, you'll see there is a converter here. I don't know if this is actually the converter that came with this pen. It might be, but it's just a standard international converter, and sometimes I mix and match those, honestly. Like, I just throw them in a bin. This has a green ink in here, which is from Backpack ink, and it is very wet, so this is maybe the wrong ink for this pen, but whatever. It works perfectly well. Go like that. Inside here, you'll see the brass of the barrel in there. That means don't eyedropper this pen. Not that you're going to anyway, but like, just don't do that. You'll maybe have some corrosion, and I wouldn't do it. But you do have nice metal on metal threads here, and so you're not going to have any problems with this deforming or anything of that nature. Okay, let's take a look at some stats real quick. Here we have the stats for this pen. Custom Xezo medium nib, cartridge converter style filling system. The materials are brass body, chrome plated aluminum furniture, and then paint hand lacquer there of some kind. Weights capped fairly heavy at about 1.5 ounces, a little bit over, and then uncapped sub 1 ounce. So a pretty it's a little bit weighty, right? It's brass, but I think it's well balanced, and so the weight goes through the nib and not like dragging your hand back, which I think is pretty nice. I like the balance on this pen. Lengths, perfectly cromulent lengths. The pocket length here, the pocket depth is from the bottom up to the inside top of the clip, and really you don't need to have it all the way up here, but it is fairly tall because that comes almost all the way to the end of the pen, so almost 5.5 inches deep there. But I find this goes in a pocket or a placket just fine, even being pretty long. Posted, I wouldn't really post it because it becomes over 6 inches long and it's kind of heavy that way. Diameters, pretty nice section diameters here. At the section we have including the pinch, 9.5 to 10.4 millimeters. That's right about my sweet spot of like, I like between 10 and 11 millimeters for the section diameter, and that's pretty darn good there. The body, 6.7 to 13.5, depending on where you measure that thing. Okay, let's do a little bit of a writing sample and compare it to some other pens. This is a Marman Spiral Notes, kind of a basic little notebook here that they gave out as a sample right there from Marman. Really nice paper here. Let's give this a little bit of a try. Now, I have been waving this around for probably 20 or 25 minutes at this point, doing various takes of this video. So let's see how it starts. Very, very slight hesitation there at the beginning, but it got itself figured out very quickly. And yeah, no problems here. It is a medium nib, and it's a pretty solid medium. I haven't had any problems with this thing drying out. Even right here, it was about half a squiggle, and it was like, oh yeah, no, I'm supposed to write. That's what I'm supposed to do here. And yeah, as you can see, no. And it is pretty darn wet. That ink has actually still like kind of glistening there. This ink seems to have a long dry time on its own and be pretty wet, and this nib is kind of wet. So a bit of a mismatch, but you know, it's what happens sometimes when you don't know what ink you're getting into. But very nice writing there. It feels nice and smooth on the page. These are well tuned, and yeah, I've had no problems with the nibs on these pens at all. Real good. All right. So let's look at it next to some other pens. All right, here we have it next to some other common style of pens. Here we have the Pilot Custom 74 here. We have a Diplomat Arrow. This happens to be the fire blued version. And then a TWSBI Eco, and then the Xezo Visionary. And you can see that capped, the Visionary is just a little bit longer than any of these, but it's definitely in the same sort of size range. Then uncapped, pretty much exactly the same length as the TWSBI Eco there, and pretty much the same as the Diplomat Arrow, slightly longer than the Custom 74. So a very normal size range. If you like pins of this kind of size, especially these two, because they're so similar in terms of like where the section is and all that, I think you'll do just fine with the Xezo Visionary. It's a pretty nice pen to hold. All right, so there you have it. That's the Xezo Visionary. Thanks again to Xezo for giving this pen for review. I've enjoyed using this thing. Oh, I do need to mention that the very first one I got of these was a little bit off spec. The line here, there is going to be a little bit, perhaps like not exactly lined up, you know, exactly, but they said there is a little bit of leeway there, but no more than like a millimeter or something maybe. And I had one that was kind of off to the side a bit. I think what had happened was the cap, like some glue or something came, you know, loose or something at some point, and so it just kind of turned further than it should have. They replaced it with no problem at all, so that's pretty darn nice CS. And this pen is beautiful, just like the other one was, but the quarters line up much better, and they have been for several months, so it's doing real good. All right, thanks very much again to Xezo for sending this out. Thank you for watching, and hey, check out this graph up here. Let's go ahead and get this to 100% subscribed. Yeah, if you're this far in the video, you like this video, go ahead and hit subscribe. It's awesome. Also, hit that like button if you like it. Let me know if you've tried out any of these Xezo pens and, you know, what's your experiences with them. They are a lot of different Xezo versions, some of them with all kinds of like mother of pearl and things like that, and the price points are really very reasonable. So, you know, check them out. Let me know what you think if you've used them before, and, you know, until next time, think about what you put out in the world, make it a better place. Peace out.